Doing his push-ups in front of the live bear den here, trying to get his team past the Baylor Bears, who have won 24 straight games. And the winner of this game will take on South Carolina on Saturday in the Greensboro region. I will take on NC State. NC State just dispatched Kentucky to get a slot in Greensboro. Pam Ward along with Carolyn Peck, and two bigs for Baylor. Carolyn?
Big is an understatement. You've got Kalani Brown, who is 6'7" inside. The offense can go up in the air around the rim to her, and her partner in crime, that's Lori Cox. She brings it offensively and defensively. Her agility to go along with Brown is a duo that will be a handful for the Golden Bears of Cal.
Lindsay Gottlieb knows that her hands are full trying to beat Baylor today. This is what she had to say earlier.
And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music. What I mean by that is the belief only needs to be here. Yeah. Everyone else probably thinks we're crazy for the belief, right? They can't hear our music. They don't know what we know about ourselves. They don't know what we believe in, right? There's no one that has picked us, I'm sure, to win the game.
Coach Gottlieb bringing out the Nietzsche quote, trying to get her team to win.
A lot of people see me dancing. They don't hear that music on in my head either. It's all about belief, and the Cal Bears have it.
Another great crowd on hand at the Farrell Center, and we are underway. Christine Anigwe, number 31 in blue. She is the superstar for Cal, leading the country in rebounds at 16.5 per game. And right now she's trying to check Kalani Brown defensively. First rebound to Brown, who scores over Anigwe. Kalani Brown only had to play 18 minutes in their blowout win over 16-seed Abilene Christian 2 days ago. We take a look now at our Capital One starting lineups for Cal. We already talked about Christine Anigwe. She's their star. Cal able to answer and tie up the game.
We had the star, Kalani Brown, first scores with an offensive rebound, and then it was a good start for Cal, seeing Risay Caldwell. When she's aggressive, that makes Cal a threat in this ball game.
Capital One starting lineups for Baylor as well, and Cox with the pass from Brown. Those two really find each other well.
And that's the first two baskets scored by the bigs of Baylor. And the one thing that Cal worked on shoot-around was trying to eliminate paint points from Baylor.
Anigwe pulling Brown away from the basket, but missing the short jumper. This is the third time in 6 years that these two teams have played in Waco in an NCAA tournament game. Baylor won the first two convincingly, and now a foul against Anigwe, who was tied up with Brown under the basket.
You're going to see a lot of physical contact between Brown and Anigwe down low. Anigwe had her hands full yesterday with Janelle Bailey of North Carolina, so the officials have got to clean that up early so no one gets hurt.
It was a 20-point come-from-behind win for Cal over North Carolina a couple of days ago. Anigwe 18 points, 22 rebounds, but she had to play 39-plus minutes. And she's got her hands full with Brown. Dee Richards off the glass. Richards gets tied up with Kiana Smith, and the held ball arrow points towards the Golden Bears. Kim Mulkey in her 19th year has a couple of national championships under her belt, but what they are most concerned with is that they have not been back to a Final Four since they won that last title.
And she said to us today in shoot-around, the team that plays the best defense is going to be the team that wins today. Both teams are really, they have toughened up, sharpened up their elbows so far.
On the season, Baylor only allows 54 points per game. That's 10th best in the nation. Brown just blocked Anigwe. Chloe Jackson, number 24, grad transfer from LSU, the point guard.
Watch the blue uniforms in the paint. You're going to have about 4 or 5 people surrounding Kalani Brown.
Underneath, Cox trying to find Richards.
You watch Kalani Brown, she's defending Anigwe one-on-one by herself. There's no double team needed when you're 6'7".
And now Anigwe working against Brown again. Little hook, a little bit short. Anigwe 8th in the nation in scoring at just under 23 points per game.
And you notice there's no other offensive rebounders when Anigwe shoots the ball.
Cox, such a good player. The junior from Flower Mound, Texas, won back-to-back Defensive Player of the Years in the Big 12. Baylor, for the second straight year, ran the table, winning every Big 12 game. And that is a very friendly roll on the three. And if Cal is going to have any chance to upset Baylor today, they've got to be proficient from out there.
That's going to be the key, because Baylor is so good at defending from the three-point line in order to beat them, you got to make outside shots.
Landrum has it rim out. Brown comes down with the rebound. Cal set a new program record with made threes this season. And Rasay Caldwell with the ball in her hands. And you see those are some of the keys for Carolyn.
Well, the three-point shooting, you got to score from the perimeter. Then you got to get back, because once Baylor gets the ball, they're often running in transition. You've got to limit those points in the paint.
Caldwell trying to dish it over to Anigwe. Lindsey Gottlieb in her 8th year at Cal, Pac-12 Coach of the Year, taking her team all the way to the Elite Eight in the Final Four in 2013. And they have not gotten back to either since. In and out, and a frustrated yell from Anigwe, but another tie-up. And the ball goes over to Baylor.
This time you saw two Cal players that went to the offensive glass. When Christine Anigwe is shooting the basketball, somebody else is going to have to go get the rebound.
Baylor with the 1-point lead. Cox kicks it out to Jackson, who has taken over the point this year after being a two-guard at LSU. She did a lot of that at LSU. Baylor leading by 3. The winner gets South Carolina on Saturday in Greensboro. Brown got Cox up in the air and then decided to drive to the basket, and she was fouled. So Jalen Brown an opportunity to shoot free throws. She's coming off a 16-point effort against North Carolina.
Well, and what Baylor is doing is icing ball screens. They're sending the penetration to the baseline instead of allowing Cal to come to the middle where there's no help.
Men's hockey skates towards the Frozen Four in Buffalo. 4 live regional semifinals across the ESPN family of networks. Friday at 3 Eastern on ESPN2 and the ESPN app, NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. And Brown delivers at the line.
You know, it's a great compliment that Kim Mulkey gave to Cal. She felt like this was going to be one of the toughest games to possibly get to Tampa because of the respect that she has of what Lindsey Gottlieb has done with this Cal basketball team.
And definitely respect for what Anigwe can do. One of the best bigs in the country. Cox trying to get it underneath, and the ball bats finally into the hands of Rasay Caldwell.
And when Rasay is aggressive, the offense works so much better. Everybody for the Cal team has a little bit more confidence offensively.
Brown rebounds the Asia Thomas miss. Cal has 3 guards who handle the ball really well. Kalani Brown, nothing doing, and a great box out by Jalen Brown to keep Cox away from the rebound. Smith off glass. Very careful not to get in there too deep, because that's where Kalani Brown was lurking. And California has a lead.
Look, there, Cal is not guarding Dee Richards. Whoever's guarding Dee is backed off.
That's Juicy Landrum from right here in Waco, Texas. Second team All Big 12 performer this season. It's Baylor back on top. Anigwe posting up hard. She got off to a slow start against North Carolina, but finished strong. A lot of moves, and she induces the foul from Brown. Off to a great start here. Baylor only up 1.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Welcome back to Waco, where after the first time out, Baylor only has a 1-point lead over Cal. In this second-round matchup, the winner moves on to the Sweet 16. Pam Ward along with Carolyn Peck, and the Golden Bears hanging in with the other Bears.
And they haven't had to do it by scoring from the perimeter. They're still going inside to Christine Anigwe. Right now, Baylor's playing her one-on-one, and what has that done? Kalani Brown has already picked up her first foul. Lauren Cox has one as well. And remember when Stanford beat Baylor earlier this season, it was because of the foul trouble that Kalani Brown found herself with.
Anigwe 1 of 2 from the line. In fact, that Stanford loss, the only setback of the season for Baylor, as Brown is on the bench now. And they lost that game. Lauren Cox only played 15 minutes in that game.
You know, Kim Mulkey wanted to teach her post players a lesson of you've got to come ready to play, especially defensively. Cox that time defensively got into good position. She established early and was able to draw the offensive foul against Christine Anigwe. She's there. She's there. That's a good call.
And it's a crucial call because that's 2 personals on Christine Anigwe, who is the most important player on this floor, probably for either team, leading them in scoring, rebounding, just about every other statistical category. But Lindsey Gottlieb, at least for now, is keeping her star on the floor. CJ West will check in for her. West played really well against Carolina the other day. Nice pick by Kiana Smith. 3rd turnover for Baylor. Smith blowing by Cox. This is a confident Baylor Bear team. Kiana Smith has 7 of their points. And now Brown calling for the ball and scoring over Anigwe, who's got to be really careful with the 2 personals. Anigwe working against Cox, gets it blocked, but the ball went right back to her. Anigwe with another chance to shoot free throws.
But the attack mentality of Cal, you watch Kiana Smith, once she got the basketball, forget about setting up the offense. She made a nice hesitation. She knew she had a bigger player in Lauren Cox on her. Hesitation and go score.
Anigwe right back to the free throw line. She gets there over 8 times per game on average, but is only a 66% free throw shooter. And actually, CJ West is coming into the game, but it's for Thomas. They get 2 big bodies out there.
But remember yesterday, Anigwe got into early foul trouble. She had 2 fouls in that first half, and Lindsey Gottlieb let her stay in. She really trusts her senior that she will stay smart, play smart, and not pick up that 3rd.
So Anigwe 0 for 5 from the floor, but has 3 points, and Cal up now 2. Alyssa Smith, number 1 in white, in for Baylor as well.
You notice that Baylor now, with Smith in the game, Lauren Cox is the 3, playing out on the perimeter.
She's so versatile. She's at least 6'4". Landrum, that's nice, right down the teeth of the defense. Juicy ties it up. Say Caldwell directing traffic, the first grad transfer in the history of Cal. Anigwe screaming for the ball with Smith guarding her. She got hit again. And Christine Anigwe is fired up. Coming up next over on ESPN2, another second-round matchup and another Pac-12 team. Stanford takes on BYU from Maples, also live on the ESPN app. You can watch it anywhere. Alyssa Smith had that last foul. Cal beat Stanford once during the regular season, and again, Stanford is the only team to beat Baylor this year. And Coach Gottlieb said she had a little conversation with Tara Vanderveer.
She reached out to a couple of her Pac-12 friends. She talked to Tara Vanderveer. She also talked to Charlie Turner-Thorne after her victory for Arizona State last night over Miami.
Boy, the Pac-12 is showing up huge in the NCAA tournament. They haven't sent anybody home yet. Landrum, a little bit too strong. And Anigwe just hunts down rebounds. Cox knocked it out of bounds.
You know what I love about Christine Anigwe is she never gives up on a rebound. Even when it's out of area, it's effort. Rebounding is all about effort, and she puts forth that effort every single time the ball goes to the rim.
This year, Christina Nigwe is averaging 16.5 boards per game, over 18 in Pac-12 games. In her first 3 years, she was just averaging 9 rebounds. In her senior year, she really took it to heart. Outside shot goes in. That is her first field goal of the game. Hits out there at a 52% clip from the field.
The Cal defense, there's 3 players around Kalani Brown.
Underneath, that's a foul on Cal. It goes against Mackenzie Forbes, one of the freshmen on this squad, and sends Dee Dee Richards to the line. Now she's got an unusual shooting motion. Only a 50% free throw shooter, but she's not out there for her offense.
Oh, it's all about the defense. And the one thing in that Stanford game, when Stanford brought the double teams, that really became evident was that if most teams are going to play off Dee Dee Richards, she can't stand. She's got to be willing to attack the basket.
Second turnover for Cal. Dee Dee Richards, Big 12 all-defensive team this year, led the Big 12 in assist-to-turnover ratio. And some contact underneath, and they're going to get C.J. West, much to Lindsay Gottlieb's chagrin, for her first foul. Cox, guarded by Anigwe. Anigwe still challenging her. And Cox finished with the left hand.
Baylor's got to go at Anigwe with her having 2 fouls.
Baylor bounces back on top. Anigwe, short. Offensive putback, no good by West, but Anigwe is there. 2 chances. Cal comes up empty, but they will inbound with 20 seconds left to go in the quarter.
Physical inside. We knew that it was going to be a battle between these two with the size inside. Anigwe never gives up on a play.
So the shot clock's off. Caldwell got Landrum up in the air, but couldn't gather for the shot. And a moving screen called on West. So 2 fouls on West, 2 fouls on Anigwe. With 2 bigs each with a couple in the first quarter.
They're not booing, they're mooning because Moon Erson comes into the ball game.
Moon number 12 for Baylor. Jackson trying to end the quarter on a high note, and she does. The Baylor Lady Bears up 3 after 1 quarter. 2 very talented post players in this game. Christine Anigwe and Kalani Brown hugged before the game, but all that hugging's gone now that they're on the court. Welcome back, Baylor with a 3-point lead. Kim Mulkey is known for her fashion as much as her coaching. And Carolyn Peck, you got to go somewhere where very few people got to go.
Well, Coach Mulkey, I know you've got your grandson here, Cannon, and you've granted us access to your closet. So can we go in and take a look?
Let's do it.
Come on.
I'm ready.
Oh, wow. Here we go. All right, my first question is your championship outfits. Now, 2005, where's that one?
That one is in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, which is right there near the Farrell Center. So if you stick your head in there, you'll see it. This is what I wore in 2012.
Oh, yeah, the shiny one.
Yeah, and the little
with
neon
the green tank top.
Yes.
You didn't throw this jacket, did you?
No, I don't think I've thrown that one. I probably, of all these jackets, have really only thrown one, and it was in the Oregon State game. And people think, gosh, that crazy lady, that was planned. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to change the momentum, and unfortunately it didn't change the momentum, but I didn't expect that jacket to go flying that far.
And Cannon was so good. Taking that tour, Kim Mulkey was just so hospitable in allowing her to come and have a tour of her house and to go into the closet. And let me tell you, she's a neat freak. She has a place for everything from the shoes to her practice gear. She even has her 84 Olympic jersey in that closet.
She's got a lot of sparkles, a lot of sequins, a lot of shoes, but Kim Mulkey has done terrific things with the 2 national championships. And now she's trying to get back to the Sweet 16. This is the biggest lead of the game at 5. Cal's offense. Rasay Caldwell put it up. Anigwe could not come up with the rebound. Baylor closed the first quarter on a 5-0 run. Jackson buried it. Long 2.
Pam, you and I are familiar with Chloe Jackson when she played at LSU in the SEC. She was the leading scorer at LSU. She averaged 18 points a game. So she as a point guard hadn't been required to score a lot for Baylor, but she definitely can.
Became the point guard when Alexis Morris was dismissed from the team back in the fall. And she is thriving. And now the offense is out of sorts for Cal. Jackson again. Timeout, Cal.
Time for a studio update. We've got Missouri State on the road taking Iowa State, and they don't look afraid at all. We got Danielle Gitson. She'll take the pass. She'll take the 3. And Murray State, the Bears, they'll take the 7-point lead right now against the Cyclones.
Thank you very much, Maria. Cam Ward and Carolyn Peck joining you, and it's 11-0 Baylor run as the Bears are trying to get back to their 11th straight Sweet 16. Congratulations to South Dakota State. How about the Jackrabbits? In for the first time.
And they can shoot the ball so well, known for that 3-point attack.
So Missouri State also trying to pull off another upset in what has been a very exciting NCAA tournament so far. Cal, meanwhile, down to 4 seconds to shoot. Jaylen Brown bottled up. Great defense, Baylor. As
Baylor turned up their defense. And when they did, they got off and running. This is their first transition basket of the game. Really got this crowd into it. And you watch Kim Mulkey. She's even coaching the crowd. She said, get up, let's get into this thing.
Baylor down early, but now starting to take control. Terrific pass again from Cox. The run is 13-0. Lauren Cox averages 3.5 assists per game, just outside the top 10 in her conference. Not bad at all for a 6'5" player.
You think?
She's really a great passer from the high post. Anigwe is now 1 of 10 from the floor.
Watch the defense of Cal. There's so much attention that is being played to Kalani Brown. Well, when that happens, what does Dee Richards do? She comes right inside Rasay Caldwell to get the easy layup. That's the high percentage shot for Richards.
Points in the paint, plus 10 for Baylor, one of their strengths all season. Trying to get it into Cox, but the delivery was not made. Kalani Brown already has 4 blocks in this game, 1 off her career high.
She's 6'7". She's going to get a lot of blocks inside.
And that was what they wanted to do. Cal wanted to attack inside, but they're not seeing much fruit for their labor right now. Thomas to Brown, contested 3. Nothing doing, and Kalani Brown able to outreach Anigwe. Many of the fans still on their feet here, cheering on their favorite team. No foul call. Jaylen Brown does not have numbers. Cal hangs on to it.
Cal needs to go score. If you've got Kalani Brown and Lauren Cox behind you, forget a set. Go attack the basket.
Cal is only 1 of 2 from 3, so they're not even getting good looks to take those threes. They took 26 in a come-from-behind win over Carolina the other day, but finding it really different tonight.
Well, I think the defense for Baylor, everybody, we talked about that's great defense, but everybody talks about you got to guard Kalani Brown and Lauren Cox. The other thing that you have to worry about with the Baylor Bears is their defensive pressure. They are so athletic, so aggressive defensively. They make it tough for you to score.
And that's something you think they don't get enough credit for, right, is their defense.
Absolutely, because they only give up 54 points a game.
That is 10th best in the entire nation. They're scoring 81 points a game, which is 8th best. They pasted Abilene Christian with 95 the other day. Smith can't save it. 7 turnovers now for Cal. Landrum gets it into Brown, who's double teamed. Shoots anyway, put it in! Everything working now for Baylor. Caldwell can't get anywhere. Richards called for the block.
When you're trying to double team Kalani Brown, in most teams, you might have to kick it out. Not when you're 6'7" and got the strength of Brown, and she comes around and finishes with that right hand.
And you saw Cox was wide open around the top of the key. Still no good look at a 3 for Cal. Brown off glass. Jaylen Brown hit 4 threes against North Carolina 2 days ago. Jackson, you give her an open look like that, it's lights out. Chloe Jackson in double figures, the lead is 13. Anigwe working hard. Cox chases it down, great hustle. Chloe, 2 in a row. Lissay Caldwell, probably her first good look from outside, left it off the mark. Already inside 4 minutes to go in the first half. Brown, oh, terrific look over to Richards. Everything is clicking for Kim's team. Smith decides not to challenge Cox. Brown got it knocked away by Richards. Baylor ball. It is a 20-2 Baylor run.
The game play for Cal was when the ball goes inside, bring a double team. Well, what does Dee Richards do? Cut back door. You can't stand and watch. You got to stay involved, and that's what exactly Richards did, and Kim Mulkey loved it.
Both of her post players very good at passing out of trouble. Baylor 64% from the floor.
Look how far Smith is playing off of Dee Richards.
Landrum. Everything falling. Baylor more than doubling up Cal so far. And another turnover. California has scored only 2 points in this quarter.
At the beginning of the second quarter, I believe Kim Mulkey really challenged her team to turn up the heat defensively, and they have done exactly that.
Smith. Everything falling now for Baylor. Caldwell, she's a tough player. Dad's a coach. She's an intern for the Golden State Warriors. She knows her basketball.
High basketball IQ. She spends lots of time, especially scouting the Duke basketball team. She knows just about every set they run.
Alyssa Smith. There is another one. You take a live shot at Coach Mulkey working the sidelines. Deanna Smith. Cal with back-to-back buckets. Quiets the crowd, at least momentarily. Another sweet pass. The assist was blown, but Melissa Smith was able to clean it up. Caldwell, here she goes. Say Caldwell. Coming off a 12-assist game against North Carolina the other day. That tied a career high, but right now they need her to keep burying those shots to get back in it.
Well, Cal was down 12 to North Carolina, but it was the aggressive play by Rasay Caldwell.
Jalen Brown missing in the paint, and there were no Bears there to, no Cal Bears there to rebound. Juicy, a little bit too strong. But Richards is able to hunt it down. And Jackson can set up, looks over at Coach Mulkey. Juicy Landrum, another jumper. That one fell short. Shot clock's off for Cal. Anigwe can't get it to go, but she is fouled again. Coming up on the Northwestern Mutual halftime report, updates on all the other games going on. Iowa State, Missouri State. The Bears trying to pull off another upset, and Gonzaga was hanging tough with Oregon State, even though they're down a couple of starters.
And they have shown that each player is ready. One man down, next one step out.
Lonnie Brown with 2 personal fouls, heads to the bench. Lauren Cox comes back in. That's Moon again. They're not booing, they're saying Moon for Moon Urson, whose given name is Kara, but Moon.
But she is a spark plug, a tremendous defender. She can shoot the 3, does so much for the Baylor Bears.
And Kristen Anigwe has missed 10 of her 11 shots from the floor. 5 of 8 from the line, and she will sit down for the rest of the half. Smart move. You certainly don't want her to pick up her 3rd foul. CJ West, who has 2, comes back in for Cal. Landrum, perfect ending for an almost perfect second quarter for Baylor. Baylor shot 64% in that half.
And just how Kim Mulkey drew it up. Running Moon Urson along the baseline to then get Juicy up top. Knock down the 3, making the defense have to shift. Baylor on top, in control. Now let's go to Maria Taylor in the studio.
All right, Carolyn, you better throw it to the studio. Talking about the Northwestern Mutual halftime report. We do not need play-by-plays. Pam Ward, that's a shout-out to you. Maria Taylor, Rebecca Lowe, and Andy Landers in the studio. Oh, it could be all sweet for Baylor, but it was all juicy. You saw the 3 going in to go into halftime.
All juicy up top. You go, Carolyn Peck.
What have we seen from the #1 overall seed so far in this?
Well, offensively, they've been extremely patient. This is a team that likes to take the ball inside, as everyone knows. It hasn't been there. Their patience, their discipline, moving the basketball around, not forcing anything inside, then taking the open shot and hitting the open shot. What has that been? Balance. Everybody on Baylor's basketball team has scored.
And you heard Carolyn Peck talking about this in the second quarter, that how as impressive as Baylor's offense is, we sometimes lose sight of how good they are on the defensive end of the floor. They lead the nation in field goal percentage defense, blocks per game, defensive rebounds per game. And how has that manifested itself in this first half here? Christina Nigwe is 1 of 11. They have done a terrific job on her. This is a team, their guards will get out and pressure you. They have so much size inside. It can give any good bigs trouble. But them on the defensive side of the ball can sometimes get overlooked, and they're really, really good.
You know, and when you have the bigs back in the paint, it allows those perimeter defenders to get up and take risk. It allows them to pressure a little bit more at times than their ability dictates that they should, because they know if they get beat, their defender's headed toward who? Kalani Brown. Get that out of here. It's not going to work.
Yeah, get it out of the woods. Brown and Cox are swatting it back.
And bigs like that, because it's more fun to block guards than it is big guys, a little bit easier. So sometimes let them by.
Yeah.
Let them by.
Picking on the little guys.
Yes. All right. Well, let's see if the little guys, the little seeds in this one are picking on the big guys. UCLA, the 6th seed against Maryland, the host seed. And take a look at Maryland. Lewis, she gets the steal and the finish right before the end of the third quarter to give Maryland the 71-66 lead. But then 3 minutes to play, we're all tied up. And Corsaro gets it to go. The Bruins on a run.
This game was back and forth the entire way, all the way down to the fourth quarter. UCLA continued to make plays, and they did the little things they needed to, like making free throws.
Yeah, I think Maryland wanted to foul there, couldn't get it off, so Onyenwere goes on to score the lay-in. She would have 30 points on the night, and Corey Close is going to be dancing all night.
Go, Corey.
Yeah,
go girl.
Hey, girl, go, Corey.
Hey, UCLA shot the ball 37% from the floor, but they outscored Maryland 21-3 from behind the three-point line.
Yes, and 27 second chance points for UCLA, and I'm loving the matchup between the Bruins and Connecticut, Rebecca.
Oh, that's going to be a great game. And one of the problems Connecticut has had at times this year is keeping other teams off the offensive glass. UCLA is 3rd in the nation with 17 offensive rebounds a game. This could be a really interesting matchup in that Albany region.
She says that because she'll be there calling the games.
I'll be there.
I get it, Rebecca. So selfish.
Promoing.
South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits taking on Syracuse.
Your Jackrabbits.
They are my Jackrabbits. Madison Giebert, she had 6 threes in this one.
And that was part of a 13-0 run that happened because Syracuse was turning the basketball over. This game was absolutely about the runs that each team would make, often because of turnovers. You see a make there by Syracuse. But ultimately, when they needed to, the Jackrabbits were able to do this really well. Make 3-point shots. They had 9 of them on the night.
Yeah, Jacks outscored Q 16-2 over the final 4 minutes, and that's exactly how they secured their first ever Sweet 16 berth in program history. Congratulations to the Jackrabbits. I mean, they got to be dancing too in the locker room. Let's see. Yeah, Sweet 16. There we go. Coach, that's what you wanted to see, right?
Yeah, give him a bath, baby.
Yeah.
Wet him down.
It's the first time we've seen a coach go in the locker room and actually get soaked by his team. Usually they miss.
Well done.
Well done, Jackrabbits. You're doing everything right now. All right, they're lining up against Oregon. The Ducks out in Portland. Sure to be a lot of fans out there to see both squads, as we're going to have a great matchup on Friday. And you see Mississippi State and Arizona State, one entire Portland region locked in for the Sweet 16. Kentucky on the road taking on NC State, the Wolfpack in Raleigh. Ryan Howard, she is the SEC Freshman of the Year because of plays like this, Coach.
Yeah, 21 points today. She was the bright spot for Kentucky. Kentucky had a hard time getting its offense going, but not this young lady. North Carolina State all over it. Kiara Leslie, 21 points, 10 rebounds.
Yes, and then Kai Crutchfield, she's going to come up with a little bit of the three, knocking it down in the corner.
A lot of bit of the three.
A lot of the three. North Carolina State hit 10 of those today. 48% from three-point range.
All right, so North Carolina State and Iowa. Remember Megan Gustafson, the ESPNW National Player of the Year. She's rolling with the Hawkeyes for the first time to the Sweet 16. Now we're just waiting to see if it'll be Baylor or Cal taking on South Carolina in the Greensboro region. Missouri State taking on Iowa State. This is the game that is happening right now. And so far, so good for the Bears, who are looking for an upset of the home and 3 seed Iowa State Cyclones. We've seen a lot of Bridget Carlson, Coach, and she's got 16 points so far, more than half the points for Iowa State.
That's the good thing. That's the good thing for Iowa State. The bad thing is no one else is pitching in and giving her any help on the offensive end. Missouri State's defense has been excellent.
Yes, well, now we have a close one, too, out in Corvallis, 25-26 Gonzaga. Remember, they're playing without 2 of their best players. Laura Stockton is not there. Jill Townsend not there, but still staying in the game.
You know, they have been extremely impressive. They were impressive in their first game of the tournament, impressive again today. They're giving up height to Oregon State. Doesn't seem to affect them. They're working around it as best they can, not taking a lot to the basket, more from the outside.
All right, well, that's all the action that you needed to get caught up on, but there's a lot of action in Waco. It's juicy from the top, looking good for the Bears.
This halftime report is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Spend your life living. You're watching the Northwestern Mutual halftime report.
Welcome inside the studio. Maria Taylor, Rebecca Lobo, and Andy Landers. We've been with you all throughout the tournament, and we're so excited that Sweet 16 tickets are being punched. And let's talk about the Chicago region. The number 1 seed, Notre Dame, taking on Michigan State. And Jackie Young, she did a little bit of everything in this game, Coach.
Didn't she? 21 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. That's a little guard.
Yeah, by halftime, Arike and Young matched Michigan State's complete scoring output, Coach.
Their guards were really good, but so were their bigs.
Yeah, their bigs combined for 33 points, 20 boards on the night.
How about this? 4 starters with at least 15 points for Notre Dame. Arike Agumbawale had 23 of those, and here's why. 3 is good. And it must feel good for Notre Dame to be headed to their 10th straight Sweet 16. So we're used to seeing Notre Dame making it. How did they make it? Behind the great scoring of their starters.
Well, what you come to expect. They got out in transition. They were able to really score a lot of points in the paint. They're efficient with the basketball. Every night, somebody different seems to step up, and tonight it was Jackie Young with the complete game.
Always good offensively tonight, excellent defensively. They confused Michigan State. They switched from a 2-3 zone to a man. Michigan State didn't ever know what they were going to attack until they got the ball to the head of the circle. It had an effect. It set the tone early in this game.
Now, Rebecca, as soon as you etched in Notre Dame in your Sweet 16 bracket, you looked and you said, wait a minute, they played Texas A&M, and that means Kennedy Carter and Arike Agumbawale.
I can't wait to see this matchup head-to-head. 2 of the most prolific shooters in the game, players who aren't afraid to go down and create their own shots. So it's going to be really fun watching these 2 players in particular on the offensive end of the floor.
No question, and there's also no question that Notre Dame has been the better team all year long. But Texas A&M, since the SEC tournament, has been a team that may have improved more late in the season than any other team in the country.
Yeah, part of that, they had to play the SEC tournament without Kennedy Carter, so players have stepped up. And then you add the All-Star back, and the team's even better. It's going to be such a fun Sweet 16 once we get there.
This halftime report is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Spend your life living.
NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. Back here at Baylor, where the Bears at one point were down 16-15, and then they turned it on and now lead Cal 46-27. A spot against South Carolina in the Sweet 16 goes to the winner. And we welcome you back to Waco. Pam Ward along with Carolyn Peck. And we know about Kalani Brown and Lauren Cox, and they really got things going in the paint for Baylor.
Well, Baylor averages almost 46 points a game in the paint, and that's the one thing Cal tried to take away. But Baylor got in the paint any way they wanted to. It was their post players. It was driving with the guards. It was sharing the basketball. When a double team came, Dee Richards did a nice job of making herself available. So Cal's going to have to adjust their defense, because stopping the paint right now, even with 2 people, isn't working.
So they are plus 16 in the paint. Baylor shot 64% in that half. That is the highest by any Cal opponent this year. And Christine Anigwe was only 1 of 11, Carolyn.
Well, and if Kalani Brown wasn't blocking shots, she was altering shots with her size inside.
Brown with 5 blocks. That is 1 off her career high. And we are underway. Cal, the at-large selection from the Pac-12. Caldwell was one of the bright spots. In fact, we talked about Anigwe being 1 of 11 from the floor. The rest of the team was 8 of 14, which is well over 50%. But Anigwe, who's had a double-double in every single game this year, right now has 7 points and only 3 rebounds.
She's had her hands full with the size. Oh, there she got a block on Kalani Brown that time.
Terrific defense, but Cox got the rebound. Anigwe playing with 2 personal fouls. Cox trying to pass out of the double team. She can do that easily because of her height. And Juicy Landrum buries another 3. Her 2nd of the game. And a foul called on Baylor on the Smith drive.
So much attention is paid in stopping the paint. But when you bring a double team, Baylor is doing a nice job of making the extra pass and finding the shooter, and that's where Juicy Landrum was open for that 3-point shot.
2nd foul on Lauren Cox sends Kiana Smith to the line, only a 68% free throw shooter. Lauren Cox having a conversation. The officials, Nicole Murray, Kevin Pethel, and Ed Sidlaski, our officials this evening. Smith 1 of 2.
You know, the one thing that Cal could do is mix up. Don't be so predictable with the double team so that the post players, when it goes inside, they have to guess, where's the defense going to be?
Chloe Jackson, boy, they're just not missing from the outside. Jackson had 12 points in the first half, 4 assists and no turnovers. She has really been a find at the point position. And Anigwe gets her 2nd basket of the game. Christina Anigwe, the 4-time All-Pac-12 player, the Defensive Player of the Year this season as well. But she has struggled against the Baylor Bears. And Christine has just picked up her 3rd foul.
But they need her to score, and one way to do so is put her in a ball screen so that she's not having to score with her back to the basket against the size of Lauren Cox and Kalani Brown. Get her on the move.
So Anigwe now with 3 fouls, ball poked away. Cal gets the basketball back. Caldwell trying to go up and under on Richards. And it's chased down by Juicy Landrum. Brown run into, that's 4 on Anigwe. And that is big trouble for Cal, who's already down 21.
Christine Anigwe just could not stop her body. Her momentum continued to move forward and ran right into Kalani Brown. That's 4 fouls. The senior's got to go to the bench.
A wonderful player who we said has had double-doubles in every single game this year, and West comes in and picks up a foul. But Cal knew, everyone knew, that coming into this game that with both Brown and Cox, it would be a whole different deal for Anigwe. Sometimes she will face 1 elite post player. In this game, she's got 2.
Well, you have Anigwe, who averages over 16 rebounds a game. Cox and Brown, they average 8 apiece. So, you know, that's just, you're not going to be able to keep both Brown and Cox out of the paint and off the glass.
Lonnie gets them both. We saw Anigwe over on the bench. She's a very prideful player. She is someone who wanted to be told, Lindsay Gottlieb right away, I want to be great. She's worked very hard, and this must be doubly frustrating. Thomas buries the 3 from the top of the key. That is the first points for Asia, who is their 2nd leading scorer behind Anigwe on the season.
We talked about, for Cal to get in this game, they've got to hit 3s.
Just 3 of 6 from distance in this game. Landrum can't miss. And I just looked over, and Lindsay Gottlieb turned around to her bench, and all you can do, right, is put your hands up. Like, what can we do?
When a team is in a zone hitting like this, there's not a whole lot you can do about that.
Now foul out on the perimeter on Richards. That is 2 on Didi.
Yeah, Landry, when you're looking at Juicy Landrum, she shoots 40% from 3. You got to always know where she is on the floor.
Caldwell had it taken away by Lauren Cox. 9 turnovers now for Cal. Inside, Brown. You saw Cox come streaking in, but she could not corral the rebound. Mulkey trying to get her team back to the Sweet 16 for the 11th straight year. 2008, the last time they didn't get that far. A little bit too strong on the shot by Thomas. Cox posting up strong. Brown finds her. Here comes the double, and Cox beat it anyway.
When you're going to bring a double team, if you're the defender behind, you can't get buried that deep, that low.
Caldwell dribbles into trouble, almost lost it, and ultimately did. Cox tied up with Brown in the paint. Jaylen Brown called for her second.
Look at how far in the paint with the double team. She had both feet down in that restricted area. When she gets your defense buried that low, she's going to finish all day.
Chloe Jackson drives the baseline and draws yet another foul.
This is how Baylor beats you. They score 71% of their points with twos. They get to the free throw line 17% from the free throw line and then only 12% from 3. But they have shown today that they have the capability of scoring from the 3. They just don't have to when you've got the size of Kalani Brown and Lauren Cox inside.
And they're 3 of 7 from 3. All 7 of those threes have been taken by Juicy Landrum.
That's what you call knowing your roles. And know where to get the basketball to.
When you have players like Brown and Cox, it's great you don't have to rely on the outside shot. And Chloe Jackson, who just stole the ball, used to shoot quite a few threes at LSU. And now she'll have a chance at a three-point play.
Chloe Jackson defensively just gets up the line and then uses a little scoop shot, protects the ball for the finish.
And that's the 4th foul on CJ West. So both post players for Cal, Anigwe and West, saddled with 4 personals.
But understand this, Chloe Jackson came to Baylor. She was going to be an offensive spark, shooting guard off the bench. And when Kim Mulkey had to dismiss Alexis Morris, first it was Didi Richards they tried at the point. Then they tried Juicy Landrum at the point. Chloe Jackson was the 3rd option. There goes Kiana Smith. But Chloe Jackson was the 3rd option to run one of the best point guard in the country and the coach of Kim Mulkey run her offense.
Terrific save by Juicy Landrum to keep the ball in bounds. So Anigwe is back out there playing with 4 fouls along with West. The smallest player on the floor, Asia Thomas, a 4-year starter at the point out of Oakland. Baylor just forced a 12 turnover. Too easy for Cox because Anigwe had to back away. Anigwe challenging Cox. And Christine Anigwe is now into double figures in scoring.
She's got to be smart because Lenny Gottlieb is really rolling the dice playing Christina Igwe with her 4 fouls in this third quarter.
Landrum. Tell you what, there's a three-point shooting contest anywhere near the greater Waco area. Let's take Juicy right now, because we're going to win. Anigwe leaning in. Cox cleans up. 2-on-1. Richards from Jackson. Clinic right now for Baylor.
They've got all the pieces to go to Tampa.
The #1 overall seed, again, just one loss. That was to Stanford right before their Christmas break. And they have not lost since. One of the wins, including over longtime nemesis UConn. It's all Baylor Bears. Baylor bench. They're thinking Greensboro and beyond. Up big over Cal. Welcome back to Waco, Texas, where Baylor is leading Cal big. And we know that the winner of this game will play South Carolina 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That's 10:30 in the morning Central on Saturday on ESPN. And Iowa and NC State follow in the Greensboro regional, where right now it looks like the top 4 are going to be through.
It'll be interesting to see if it is a rematch with Baylor and South Carolina. They played earlier in December of 2018, and Baylor got off to a hot start. They went out in the first quarter 32-13 before South Carolina settled in.
Larson, the first person, not named Juicy Landrum, to hit a 3 for Baylor this evening. In that game, Baylor beat South Carolina in Columbia 94-69. They shot 55% for the game. And I think Dawn Staley and their staff right now are probably looking at this game and thinking, uh-oh.
Well, but South Carolina they've developed and they have really come together throughout the season. Each game, Dawn Staley has felt that her team has improved. Once they got healthy, they weren't completely healthy in early December, but they are now. And when they're clicking and they're really good, they are really good. Now, they hit those scoring droughts, and that hurts them at times, but they've got to stay consistent.
Smith off the inbounds. We saw them working on that in shoot-around this morning. And also, South Carolina in early December, Dawn Staley was still trying to figure out what players to start, rotations, period. And that settled in a little bit now.
Well, their team had to get used to playing without Asia Wilson. Now I think that they have really kind of figured that out. But now it's a matter of scoring a balance between their inside and outside game.
Jackson called for the foul. Second on Chloe Jackson from Maryland. Catch an NIT quarterfinal doubleheader tomorrow at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Winners punch a ticket to the Final Four in Madison Square Garden. Visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Smith with the miss at the line, and now Coach Mulkey's going to start putting in some bench players. Lauren Cox. Chloe Jackson get the standing ovations. How good is Lauren Cox? She had 5 assists on top of all of the other good things she's been doing out there. She really is a terrific passer.
She can pass the ball. She can block shots. She can rebound. She can score at all 3 levels, the 3, the mid-range, and also in the paint.
And she's only a junior. Foul on Baylor. I think they're going to get Egbo. Yes, they do. Queen Egbo, the freshman from Houston who just checked in a few moments ago. McDonald's All-American at Travis High School.
You look at, you had the 5 starters for Baylor, and then she can go to her bench, and her second team could advance far in this NCAA tournament.
Midway continues to struggle from the floor. Chen Yu also has checked in the first time we've seen her this weekend, number 5 for Cal, a 6'7" center from China. Baylor shooting 62%. Egbo! Baylor has doubled up Cal, leading 76-38, inside a minute to go in the third quarter. The winner plays South Carolina Saturday morning in Greensboro. Smith buries it. That's a long 2 for Kiana Smith. She has played a really efficient game. 15 points on 6 of 8 shooting.
Baylor just keeps demonstrating the talent that they have.
Egbo over Anigwe, who's out there with the 4 personals.
You look at the future's even bright for the Baylor Bears after Kalani Brown graduates and goes on to the WNBA.
Shot clock's off for Cal. Smith with the drive, rebound wrestled by Melissa Smith. And Kiana Smith for the Cal Bears has been called for her second foul. Over the limit, so Smith heads to the free throw line. Another one of those freshmen that will be counted on heavily in years to come. Kim Mulkey and her staff doing a great job of retooling every year.
Because you would have thought that after Brittany Griner, how can you match that level of talent? But year after year, Baylor continues to reload. Remember they had Nina Davis?
Nina Davis, Odyssey Sims. I mean, the list goes on and on. Christy Wallace last year.
Then you bring in Kalani Brown. You had Beatrice Montpremier, who ended up transferring to Miami.
End of the quarter. Richards D's it up. It is all Baylor. Up 39. Kim Mulkey on her way to taking her team to their 11th straight Sweet 16. I would imagine she's got to be pretty pleased with what she's seeing in Waco. Fourth quarter about to get underway, and those banners probably going to have some more stuff on them because Baylor's on their way to another Sweet 16. But Kim Mulkey told Carolyn Peck during her closet interview that she wants more.
It's pretty special. Coaches won at all levels. Olympics, player, assistant coach, 2 national championships as a head coach. Will it be 3?
I would love for it to be 3, but you know, Carolyn, I get emotional when I talk to the players about it because I want them to experience it. I have been so blessed. Listen, I've played for great coaches, played with great players. Would it mean a lot to me? Yes, but I already have them. I want players that have never experienced a Final Four. I want those kids to have it more than me. When we won our first one at Baylor, I'd already done that at Louisiana Tech, and all I kept saying is I'm so happy for Baylor University.
Right.
Because to see the look on people's faces when they experience something for the very first time, it's priceless.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly how she feels. When I had the opportunity to go to the Final Four with Tennessee in '95, we fell short. Connecticut won that championship. My first year as a head coach at Purdue in '98, we fell short, getting as far as the Elite 8 and not going. And the thing that was so disappointing is you wanted the players to have that feeling of going to the Final Four. And I know exactly how Kim feels when you see players experience winning their first national championship. It's indescribable, the feeling of gratitude and relief that you now have allowed players to really experience something that nobody else in the country will experience for that year.
And that is something that Carolyn experienced, head coach at Purdue 20 years ago when they won the national championship. And now a team that has not been to the Final Four since 2012. This is a team, they lost in the Sweet 16 in 13, 4 straight Elite 8 losses with the great Nina Davis, and then lost in the Sweet 16 last year. They are aching to get back to the Final Four.
Really, that's the only accolade that Kalani Brown is missing, is going to a Final Four in her career at Baylor.
We talked to some of the Baylor players. Anigwe with the miss. Talked to some of the Baylor players, and Lauren Cox specifically said, we want to win for Kalani. We want to get Kalani Brown to her first Final Four in this, her last chance as a senior. Coverage of the Division I Men's Basketball Championship Regional Semifinals begins Thursday on CBS and TBS at 7 Eastern. For more information on game times and listings, NCAA.com is the place to go. And they're good friends. And again, Kalani Brown's listed at 6'7", Lauren Cox at 6'4". Cox is taller than 6'4".
When we go to Greensboro, I'm going to pull out the ruler and I'm going to see what the height is for those two players.
Christina Anigwe fouled by Egbo, who's trying to keep the ball from going in. Second on Egbo. California has 0 offensive rebounds this half.
We were talking about these two. Kalani Brown played an active part in recruiting Lauren Cox to come to Baylor. Lauren Cox was the #1 player in the country and convinced her to come play. And Lauren Cox plays the position that Kalani Brown does. And they knew that they would be a great combination together, and what a career those two have had.
I love the way Kalani's sitting right now. That's the kind of, I'm sitting on the bench, we got this. Legs crossed, just chatting with her buddy.
And Kalani Brown has a soft heart, watching her hold Cannon at practice, and then we see her, she's got a new puppy.
And now she's cheering on her teammates. We don't usually get a lot of playing time. She's got a new puppy named Louie. Anigwe has had to work for every millimeter of real estate on the court. And here now is Louie, Kalani Brown with her baby dog.
And you just watch a person that is that size, why do they get the little baby dog?
It's a teacup Maltipoo, and she says it's not going to be, Louie won't be any more than 5 pounds.
And she already has found the bag she wants to carry him in.
It's always important. Smith finishes. She's very excited to get her puppy Louie. He's going to be making some road trips with his mom. Anigwe was fouled on the way to the basket. Looks like Christine might be shaken up a little bit. We need to give her, if we were to go through all of the records that she has, we would just have to stop calling the game. But earlier in this game, Christine Anigwe broke Cal's single-season scoring record. So she is over 740 points and counting on this season. Edie Richards was called for that foul. Her mom and her sister have made the trip. She's from Phoenix, Arizona, and she has just been terrific all 4 years. Most points, rebounds, and blocks in Cal history. Most points and rebounds in Cal history, male or female players. And Cal has had some pretty darn good male players there as well. Jason Kidd, some other guys have gone through there.
When you look at the numbers of her average, and it's even pointed out that there hasn't been a WNBA player that has averaged 12 rebounds a game, and this young woman is going to have a terrific career in the next level in the WNBA.
Needs to work on her free throw shooting. Averaging 16.5 rebounds per game, #1 in the country by almost 3 rebounds over #2, and that's Tiara McCowan. This is going to be a frustrating end to a brilliant career for Anigwe, but she is projected as a top 10 pick in the WNBA draft.
And she should be, and it's because of her energy and her motor that she plays with. And anybody that goes and gets rebounds, they don't just come to her.
She hunts them down brilliantly. Another foul on Egbo. Christina Anigwe with 33 straight double-doubles, including all 32 games this year. And that's tied for the second longest in Division I history. And just look at some of these numbers. Feast on that.
Over 2,500 points, 1,400 rebounds. She has a streak of 33 straight double-doubles. I'm pulling for her tonight. I want her to go to 34. but she's only got a little over 6 minutes to get it done.
She needs 6 rebounds to do that. Juicy Landrum and Melissa Smith get standing ovations as Coach Mulkey starts to clear out her bench, and it's a deep bench. She's got some talent over there.
When you look at the Baylor Bears, do they have what it takes to go to Tampa and compete for a national championship? Yes. They have a tremendous point guard. They've got a phenomenal front court. They've got perimeter scoring. And you know what else they have, Pam? They have terrific chemistry on their team.
And that's something that is, you know, as a head coach, vitally, vitally important and often overlooked. Good finish for Brown.
Well, you have players like Dee Dee Richards who will do the little things, takes pride in her defense. You've got Chloe Jackson, who is playing off her position and has really learned the point guard position. You look at the sacrifice the players have had to make.
All the pieces are fitting right now for Baylor. They are on their way to their 25th straight win.
One important piece that I left out, they have a terrific head coach that plays with a lot of that coaches with a lot of emotion.
That would be Kim Mulkey. Every team's goal is to make it to Tampa Bay. Coverage of the Women's Final Four begins Friday, April 5th at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN2, as well as the ESPN app. Will, Lauren Cox, and Kalani Brown and company make it. And now Christine Anigwe gets taken out of the game, gets hugs from her teammates, leaves with just 5 rebounds. It does have 13 points, and we will next see her in the WNBA. Caldwell, another player. And you know, you might see Rasay Caldwell in the NBA. She wants to be a general manager sometime in the NBA, and she's interning with the Warriors.
She has told us about after games. She's doing a lot of scouting. She's got her laptop up, watching a lot of synergy and breaking down a lot of the men's games.
Timeout, Baylor up 93-52.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Rasay Caldwell, an intern for the Golden State Warriors, talked to Carolyn and broke down a play for the Duke men's team.
Rasay, I know you do an internship with Golden State, and they have you doing a lot of scouting. You've been watching Duke. Show me how Zion Williamson gets involved.
So this is what happens when Zion has the ball in his hands. He's going to come up a ball screen, a drag screen from Jonah Bolden. As that happens, RJ and Trey come together, flop action, so RJ is now cleared out.
Okay.
Now there's a 2-man side with Zion and Trey. They're going to come together for a handoff. Zion ends up faking the handoff and drives right. Now he has a full open side. Almost every time when he drives out, you cut him off, he's spinning. Just a little tidbit there.
All the secrets about Zion Williamson. That's a good scouting report. And when you can talk a lot of basketball with Rasay Caldwell, and she watches not just Zion Williamson, but a lot of players that Golden State's looking at the potential of possibly drafting. And she said there's not many plays that Duke can run that she doesn't already know.
And what's really cool is Kalani Brown is somewhat surprisingly back in the game for Baylor with this huge lead. With Steve Kerr, the head coach, when he was showing film, put a clip of a game-winning shot by Rasay Caldwell on the end of it. Surprised her. Great guy. We have a timeout. Back in Waco, we know now why Chloe Jackson and Kalani Brown put back into the game so they could get a curtain call. The only 2 seniors on this team playing their final game in Waco at Farrell Center.
Isn't it scary that those are the only 2 seniors with the talent that is on this bench?
Take a look now at our Capital One rewarding performance, and it's the entire Lady Bear Ball Club.
Well, they got contributions from everybody. It wasn't just Kalani Brown and Lauren Cox. You had Juicy Landrum knocking down shots from the 3-point line. Chloe Jackson showed that she's a scoring point guard. You had Melissa Smith coming off the bench. You had Moon Urson came in. She hit her a 3. The balance of the Bears was so impressive today.
Juicy Landrum in games against Abilene Christian and now Cal 7 for 13 from 3, a combined 34 points. Not bad.
Getting it done.
And that's juicy. One of 4 starters who averaged double figures for this team. They will play South Carolina Saturday morning in Greensboro. Let's give it up for Kiana Smith. She'll be back for 2 more years. She has played very well today. She's got 18 points for Cal.
It's the Cal defense trying to defend the size and talent of Baylor was just too much.
And a chance to go to the free throw line for Trinity Oliver. Mosley called for the foul. And Christina Nigwe, number 31. It's been a pleasure to watch her the last 4 years, and she's leaving with her name all over, not just the Cal, but the Pac-12 record books.
Well, both those two, you see Christina Nigwe and Asia Thomas, the 2 seniors, great leadership, brought tremendous work ethic every day for Lindsey Gottlieb. I know she's going to miss those 2 next season.
Asia Thomas replaced Brittany Boyd at the point, has started all 4 years at the point, coming in as a freshman. And Coach Lindsey Gottlieb says that she wants her to be equanimous every game. We had to look that up because we didn't go to Brown like Lindsey, certainly couldn't get into Cal. There's a block by Egbo. And I would say that Asia Thomas has brought a lot of equanimity to this program.
Just always steady and balanced. And she developed that. Remember, her brother played at North Carolina. He was on that 2005 national championship team of Roy Williams. She grew up a North Carolina fan.
Let's say Caldwell. So equanimity, equanimous, we had to go to the dictionary, and this is it. This is what Asia Thomas has been for 4 years, having her showing equanimity, which means even-tempered, calm, and composed. And Coach told us she had to really coach her up harder than anyone, but really has loved doing that. And there's her brother Quentin, who surprised her coming in here the other day, which was great.
He's 11 years older than her, but you see what a great relationship the two of those 2 have. And it was a surprise. And when Asia saw her brother, she tried to stay all calm and composed on the court. She didn't immediately run over to her until she had finished her warm-up. Then she went and greeted her brother.
Trinity Oliver delivering at the line as Baylor creeps closer to 100 points. They last got there against Texas Tech in the Big 12 tournament. They swept both regular season and tournament titles again this year in the Big 12. A travel call. And now a chance for 100 points. And Rasay Caldwell, a grad transfer from right here in San Antonio. She has about 30 friends and family who made the trip. Started out at UCLA, got hurt, then went to Texas Tech. First grad transfer in the history of Cal. And we've really been impressed with her, just speaking with her and being around her the last couple days.
And the 2 reasons that she came to Cal, one was to play in the NCAA tournament. She had never done so in her career. So Lindsey Gottlieb can check that box off. Also, she wanted to be prepared for the next level. After she was finished with her basketball career, you talked about wanting to be a NBA GA, and she has an internship with the Golden State Warriors.
Certainly on that path. And needless to say, you get out of Cal Berkeley with a degree, you're on a pretty good path.
Absolutely.
Lindsey Gottlieb, who did go to Brown University, was a daughter in a family of lawyers, and she was the black sheep of the family. She went into the basketball business. Her dad was a judge, everybody else a lawyer, and she's done pretty well, though, with the basketballing. Coming up next, Sports Center with Steve Levy and John Anderson. Rebecca Lobo going to break down the tournament's best so far. She's got to talk about Baylor a lot. More on Russell Westbrook. Mel Kiper Jr. talks about the draft. Sports Center next on ESPN and the ESPN app. And the place explodes because Baylor has hit the century mark. The 5th time Baylor has scored at least 100 points this season.
They have demonstrated you can try to take away the inside game. They can hurt you from the outside. Baylor just has so many weapons their opponents have to worry about.
Oliver with the finish. Kim Mulkey's team about to win its 25th straight game. They go to 33-1 on the season. That only lost to Stanford back in December. Trying to copy Carolyn Peck. 20 years ago, your Purdue team only lost one game. That was to Stanford out west right before Christmas time. You ran the table and won the whole darn thing, and now Mulkey's trying to do the same thing.
You know, is this the year for Baylor to do it? They still have a tough region. When you look at they've got to face South Carolina, then the winner of Iowa and North Carolina State. Greensboro's not going to be any cakewalk, but these games this year have been phenomenal in the NCAA tournament.
Yep, all four, the top four seeds, rather, from Greensboro, making it through. We will see you there Saturday morning. First game, 11:30 Eastern. That's 10:30 in the morning here in Waco.
I'm about to set my alarm clock.
Cal will finish up 20-13, making their third straight NCAA tournament, 7 of their last 8, but just too much. Baylor. Bickle called for the foul. Elijah Stiles, a sophomore from San Diego. But the Baylor Bears, in impressive fashion, move on to their 11th straight Sweet 16. Greensboro, the next stop for Kim Mulkey's team that dreams of an elusive Final Four and another national championship. 102-63, Kalani Brown goes out in style in their last game here in Waco.
And she had a lot of help. She had not only Lauren Jackson, but she had the point guard in Chloe Jackson. She had the shooting of Juicy Landrum. The Baylor Bears have a balanced attack.
So we will see them again in Greensboro. Kalani Brown, very classy, giving Christina Nigwe a hug. Nigwe with a brilliant career. South Carolina, 1:30 Eastern time, approximately on ESPN, after NC State takes on double-double machine Megan Gustafson and Iowa. So once again, it's 102-63.